Named location in Fortnite history that either was added during a Fortnitemares event or has something to do with, being spooky, like having zombies, right? And I'll explain that a little bit more deeper in this video. Quick note here, these have to be So as always, consider leaving it a like using code TIEFRIES in the Fortnite item shop to help support the channel, and let's get into another Halloween ranking video. Alright, at number 13 is going to be Haunted Hills. Yes, again, I know it's not a true Halloween named location, right? It didn't come with a Fortnitemares event, but there's no way that I could possibly make a Halloween named locations video and not include a spooky one like Haunted Hills. Unfortunately, it wouldn't really have made a difference if I didn't include it on this list because Haunted Hills is really bad. You've got a couple of chests, that's it. Right on the edge of the map. The only benefit here is how close you are to Pleasant Park, right? So the actual benefit of Haunted Hills doesn't even come from this location, right? It comes from another one. At number 12 is Pumpkin Pass from Chapter 6's Fortnitemares event, the one that we're currently in. And you know what? It's a beautiful looking location. I love how they redid this for Fortnitemares, but at the end of the day, it's just a bridge. Like, this doesn't even need to be a named location. It's not like you've got any, buildings up here. You've got a few chests up top, a few chests down below. I believe you do have a, Scream phone booth that can give you the last call, which is good. Again, this is a named location that, let's be real, probably shouldn't even be named. It should just be like a landmark on the map, but honestly, I would rather land at Pumpkin Pass than Haunted Hills. At number 11 is Zombie Retail Row from Season X, and you thought I was going to forget this one, but I didn't. This is one of the Rift Zones from Season X, in my opinion, one of the worst Rift Zones we got. I mean, think about it, right? Rift Zones were pretty good. I mean, you had Gotham City, Tilted Town, Pandora, but then you had a couple of bad ones, like Taco Time, Greasy Grove, and like Zombie Retail Row, as well as Moisty Palms. At the end of the day, it's not any lower because it is still Retail Row, right?
Guys?
Like, it has a ton of chests in a pretty close proximity to each other and a good location, but they're zombies. I hate zombies so much. If I wanted to fight zombies, I don't know. I hate zombies so much, right? Like, I don't want to fight zombies. Retail Row is one of my favorite locations in Fortnite history, and I didn't land here for the entirety of the time that this Rift Zone was in the game because I hate zombies so much. I'm not here to play PvE, right? Like, I'm here to play against other players. If I wanted to shoot zombies, I would go play Save the World. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, honestly, I'm just not the biggest fan of this one. At number 10 is Gordy Gate. This is another new one from Fortnite 2025, and again, it's just a basically re-themed Foxy Floodgate, which was a POI that I was never really a big fan of. I mean, it looks beautiful, right? Again, you'll see that be a common trend with especially the new Fortnitemares locations. They all look stunning. My problem with this location is I don't like how vertical it plays, right? Like, I don't like fighting here. It feels weird. There's a lot of like weird rat spots where people can just hide around corners. It's too vertical, right? Like, it's too up and down rather than being, side to side like really any other Fortnite location. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it does have a great physical location on the map. At number 9 is Grim Gables. Now, you might have thought Grim Gables would place a little bit lower on this list, but it has one huge benefit, and that's the fact that it spawns a boss, which means it also gets a mythic weapon. Now, let's be real, that mythic weapon isn't really that good. That's the Inquisitor's Mythic Suppress SMG. And at the end of the day, right, you're probably going to Grim Gables to try and get this weapon, right? Like, other than, like, the kind of spooky atmosphere, which, by the way, it is one of the spookiest locations of all time. It's actually pretty scary to go through that mansion. I just don't really know why you would drop here if you're not going for the mythic, because it's not like it's got a ton of chests. At least for me, Chapter 3 Fortnitemares was kind of a big miss. If you want to know what I think more about that Fortnitemares event, lucky for you, I've actually ranked every single Fortnitemares event. So go check that one out if you just can't get enough TIEFRIES Halloween content. At number 8 is Brawler's Patch. This was the kind of remade version of Brawler's Battleground that was Ares' location in Fortnitemares 2024, but they actually removed Ares as well, right? You actually got the Ultima Carver boss, boss. And unfortunately, I actually think this location was just worse than just the original Brawlers Battleground, right? I mean, you lose the medallion, you lose the mythic. Again, this location looks beautiful, right? But we're not really talking about the looks here. And in terms of actual gameplay, the reason why I didn't like this location too much is because they added these vines that you could, you know, kind of grind on top of the location. And it meant that you were always getting shot from above. It was like, so annoying. With that being said, I do hold a special place in my heart for Brawlers Battleground. It was one of my favorite locations in Chapter 5 Season 2. So that's why it's a little bit higher up on this list than you might have expected. A little bit of bias here, but still, you know what, a decent location. We're still not into like the really good locations yet, though. At number 7 is Creepy Camps. This is Jason Voorhees' location from our current Four Nightmares event, and this location is kind of pending what happens with the Voorhees medallion. It has been in the files, and as of recording this video, it is not in the game, but the Jason boss is in the game, and he has so much HP. He might have the most HP from any boss I've ever seen. I mean, you will just mag dump into this guy, and all he drops is a mythic wood stake shotgun, literally one of the worst weapons I've ever seen. So I would say, you know, you're coming here to fight the boss, but you're really not, right? Because the boss is very hard to take down, one of the hardest bosses to take down ever, and you're not rewarded whatsoever, and he doesn't drop the medallion that I feel like it makes sense for him to do so. With that being said, though, I like how kind of small this location is, like how tight-knit it is together, how easy it is to loot the chests. It kind of gives me that like old Lonely Lodge vibes, and it gets bonus points for obviously being modeled after a real-life location, or at least a real-life movie location, I should say. And number 6 is going to be The Ruins from Chapter 2, Season 4's Midas's Revenge Four Nightmares event. The Ruins were exactly what it says it is. It's the ruins of what was the Agency and the Authority, right? The Authority was Chapter 2, Season 3. Now, I don't think The Ruins was like an especially good location. I mean, yeah, you had a lot of chests, but everything was broken down. The build grid was all weird. There were a lot of exposed angles, but you were literally in the center point of the map. So you would see people just land here, get a couple chests, and then rotate to Salty or Retail or wherever. And you've got to remember, when this was in the game, if you died, you come back as a zombie as well. So this place was a true zombie-infested wasteland. I also want to give an honorable mention to the Convergence, which was a location that was added in Chapter 2, Season 8's Four Nightmares event, but it's not Halloween-themed whatsoever, like literally at all. So I didn't want to include it on this list, but since it was added during a Four Nightmares event, I want to give it an honorable mention.
Spark something beautiful. Kate Spade.
Tonight on T News at 10, it's time to plan your holiday travel.
If you haven't booked a flight and you plan to fly out for the holidays,
book it now because it's not going to go down.
See the best days to find deals and the money mistakes you can make when you book. Tonight on T News at 10.
Magic Spoon is the macro-crushing, crave-worthy breakfast you've been waiting for. 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and bursting with fruity, peanut buttery, chocolate.
And number 5 is Viney Shafts. I'm telling you guys, they are out of control. This is a, you know, Halloweenified version of Shiny Shafts from Chapter 6. I think it's a very good location. You've got a lot of chests. I will say they are kind of placed in weird spots. I don't know if that's just me that feels that way, but this is a pretty big location, right? So if you land here in a trio or a squad, you're going to have no problem all coming out with good loot. And you're in a decent part of the map. I'm not going to say a great part, but decent. And of course, it goes without saying, these Chapter 6 Halloween-themed locations are absolutely stunning. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. I never liked the look of the Chapter 6 map, especially with the bugs on it this season, but the fact that they totally erased all that and basically like made the entire map Halloween themed, it just looks stunning. And number 4 is Freaky Fields. Of course, you knew it was going to be on this list, but this is the first iteration of Freaky Fields from Chapter 5, Season 4. Look, besides it being a troll that it's obviously Freaky Fields, it's just so funny. It's a pretty good location, right? Fortnite tends to do a pretty good job with their farm locations, right? They have a good history of it. Frenzy Farm, Fatal Fields, Anarchy Acres, right? Like, they're all pretty good locations, and I think the same goes here. Now, with this version, you have the TV inside that you can interact with, and you can actually get Billy Bombs from it. Fortunately, I don't think Billy Bombs are like that great, And honestly, I think it's just beaten out by the new version of Freaky Fields at my number 3 spot today. That's Freaky Fields 2.0, Chapter 6's version. They are so incredibly similar, and the only reason why the Chapter 6 version is ahead of the Chapter 5 version is because there is the potential for Doja Cat to spawn here, and when a boss spawns here, you get all that comes with it, right? That's mythic items, that's good loot. Of course, this one is up to personal preference. If you like the Chapter 5 version better, fine. I personally like the Chapter 6 version. Again, just my opinion here. All right, number 2 is going to be the Underworld. Now, really what I should have done for this spot is I should have split it into 2 spots, because you had the Underworld with Hades, of course, and while that's not a direct Halloween location, it's definitely spooky. And if you think about the real-life implications of what the Underworld actually is, it's even more spooky. But then with the Chapter 5 Four Nightmares event, they actually kind of changed the Underworld a little bit, and you actually had Mephisto, who turned the water all red instead of green. It's a really, really cool-looking location. The Underworld is absolutely huge. Honestly, it might even be too big. So many chests, great location on the map. I mean, being able to just jump in the river and have those 3 dashes is great when you have it, but it makes for some kind of annoying gunfights. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, right? But the Underworld, I think, was easily probably the 2nd or 3rd best location on the Chapter 5 Season 2 map. And so it shouldn't be a surprise is this high up on the list. But let's get into another Chapter 5 Season 2 location at the number 1 spot today. At number 1, guys, my best Halloween location in Fortnite history is Grim Gate. Again, it's the same thing as the Underworld. You know, you got a location that isn't technically a Halloween or Fortnitemares themed location, but it is very, very spooky. And definitely I thought if I'm going to include Haunted Hills, I've got to include Grim Gate. Again, you also had the water turn red during the Fortnitemares event. And the thing with Grim Gate is, yeah, I mean, it's an okay location, but you're not dropping here for your regular chest. You're dropping here to take down Cerberus and get a top 5 Fortnite weapon of all time, the best shotgun of all time. That's Cerberus's Gatekeeper shotgun, as well as his aspect of agility medallion, which is easily a top 5 medallion of all time. So at the end of the day, this location could have been whatever it wanted to be. It could have 4 chests, it could have 20 chests, it could have 100 chests. If you give a location one of the best mythic weapons of all time paired with one of the best medallions of all time, which doesn't even take up an inventory slot, it's going to be a good location, right? So I know this one might be a little bit of a cheap pick here, but if I was going to include it on this list, it was definitely going to be at the number 1 spot. Alright folks, please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this ranking, and let me know if there's any locations you thought that should have been on here that didn't. You know, I was thinking about the Chapter 3.
Jason Voorhees has an emote that lets you ride around on a boat, but play for a long time and this'll happen. Of course, it's a dark reference to the time this exact thing happened in the movies. And that's not the only time Fortnite
missed it. What was it?
Of course, it's a dark reference. But play for a long time and this'll happen. Of course, it's a dark reference to the time this exact thing happened in the movies. And that's not the only time Fortnite recreated a classic horror film, because at Freaky Fields, you can discover this U2 robot trying to break out of a TV.
Oh, it's like
if you
The
watched
Ring.
The Ring, you can already tell what Fortnite's referencing.
The Ring is a goated movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
But one of the coolest additions this Fortnitemares has to be Wednesday Addams. And you might be thinking her design is pretty standard, right? Well, that's until you look on her shoulder. The hand isn't just for decoration. The second you start running around as Wednesday, you'll realize the hand reacts to everything you do. From elims to gliding and emoting, even aiming down sights. It's like a pet backbling included in the outfit for free. By far the creepiest member of Fortnitemares is this guy right here, Art the Clown. He is from the Terrifier movies, and if you've seen them, I don't need to tell you how much of a sicko he is. And to make things even worse, when you go AFK in the lobby, he'll do this.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
heebie-jeebies aside, of course it's taken directly from the movies, as Art doesn't talk and just smiles and waves. Whenever Fortnite adds collabs like these, they always add insane Easter eggs, like with Ghostface, whose knife pickaxe tells you to survive until the sequel. This is a nod to the fact Ghostface basically dies or gets arrested in every movie, and then someone else becomes the killer in the sequel. Not to mention, there's a lot of Scream movies and TV shows out there, so it makes sense that transforming through a phone booth will sometimes make him say,
"Back for another sequel."
By far, one of my favorite characters to show up this Halloween is Huggy Wuggy from Poppy Playtime. Now sure, he might be terrifying in the games, but in Fortnite his emotes are incredible and also full of secrets.
Your friend Huggy, Huggy, squeeze you until you pop.
If you recognize the music here, you're a super dedicated Poppy Playtime fan because it's only used by pressing a button in Chapter 1 of the game. Over in Scooby-Doo's set, make sure to pay attention to the Mystery Inc. Strummer, because while this might seem like an average guitar, there's a secret hiding on the back which most players would never spot. Flip it around and you'll find crossed out photos of some of the gang's most classic villains like Captain Cutler, the Ghost of Redbeard, and more. Also, check out Daphne's back bling. It might be hard to recognize if you grew up watching the original shows, and that's because this is taken from the first episode of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. It's one of the more modern shows on Cartoon Network, and this is the item that's responsible for kicking off the entire storyline. Personally, I love the pickaxe hiding in Repo's set because anyone who's played the game will immediately recognize it. It's the inflatable hammer, and while it might seem random if you're unfamiliar with Repo, it is one of the many artifacts you could find while repossessing, and it's super helpful in the game because it doesn't smash unlike fragile items. Heading back to Wednesday, she has not one, but two emotes, both of which reference famous scenes from the Netflix show, like Wednesday's Dance, and Concerto of Woe, which is a nod to the many scenes where she plays the cello. One of the most confusing parts of this Halloween is our main boss on the island, Doja Cat. She is here as the Mother of Thorns, and if you end up fighting her, you'll realize she uses a custom mythic which is the Thorn Ripper. Pretty much everybody knows it as the Chains of Hades, and there's a reason she uses this. It's actually because back in Chapter 5, Doja Cat went on Twitter and had a full crash out over how overpowered these things used to be. Speaking of bosses, keep an eye out for Jason Voorhees, because when you get close enough, you'll hear this. Yeah, it's the classic ha from the films, and I mean, they just had to add it. Awesome. But to make it even better, they also programmed him to never run. And that's because in the movies, after Jason dies and becomes a zombie, he only walks towards his victims. And that's not the only detail Epic thought about. In the trailer for this year's Fortnitemares, you can see Ghostface chasing Budge through the hallways, and then this happens. Yes, it is a parody of Scooby-Doo's iconic door joke. But not everything is that obvious. Velma's back bling has stumped even the most dedicated Scooby-Doo fans. That's because it's taken from the 1999 straight-to-DVD movie Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, something that is pretty much forgotten about by most fans. Not only is this a reference, but it's also reactive and unleashes the witch. And it wouldn't be Halloween without some good old pumpkins. And if you go to the pickleball courts on the map, they're not empty anymore. You can now watch a pickleball match happening between two jack-o'-lanterns with an entire audience. That's not all. Over at Sakura Stadium, there's a soccer match happening, and the two goalkeepers are ghosts. Not really sure how they're gonna stop a ball because, you know, it's gonna go right through them, but okay. The most shocking Easter egg in Fortnitemares belongs to the Grabber. His emote is the Lil Magic Van. And if you've seen the Black Phone, you'll know that Fortnite added a van used to kidnap kids into the game. I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card. But something you probably could have seen coming is the Scooby-Doo theme song, which of course has been added as a jam track. This is the 2002 version of the theme, which everyone loves, but if you look at the emote version, you'll hear something different.
Oh, it's the OG.
And yes, this is the intro song from the 1969 cartoon. Let's take a look at this other emote called the Creepy Canvas, because you might recognize the villain hiding in the painting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the Creeper, one of the most iconic villains from the whole show. Now, we also got some incredible original outfits too, like the Dark Maw who looks insane, but his back bling is even better. That's because it's a reference to one of the most famous video games of all time. This is Maw's Mimic, a chest that you might recognize if you played Dark Souls. These fake chests with mouths are iconic enemies from the franchise, and it's not the first time Epic has referenced Dark Souls. The Praise the Tomato emote is based on praising the sun in the games, and now it pairs amazingly with his Halloween back bling. Let's spin back to Doja Cat, because while her boss's weapon was made just to troll her, there are some insane secrets that you probably didn't know about. Like if you actually follow her instructions and kneel before her, she'll just stop being aggressive and save you the trouble of a fight. She also has dozens of custom voice lines, all of which are voiced by Doja herself.
I see
You can get this fixed now and pay later. You can get this fixed now and pay later. And this, get it fixed now and pay later in 4 interest-free payments at SafeLight.com.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
It's time for pinned messages on WhatsApp.
A new Sprouts Farmers Market is coming to your neighborhood. Look at all this fresh organic produce.
We've got fresh organic products in every aisle.
The bulk section is my favorite.
The holidays can be a lot, but with your new Dell PC with Intel inside.
Another one of my favorite Easter eggs this Halloween belongs to Art the Clown, because his back bling is a trash bag full of weapons. You see, this is because in the Terrifier films, he actually carries his bag of trash everywhere he goes, and no one questions what's in there. They expect clown toys or something like that, only for it to be full of horrifying weapons. Another great back bling belongs to Ghostface. There's plenty of people who call themselves Ghostface in the films, except in his back bling, you can see a school backpack with the name Woodsboro on it. This is the small town where everything happened, just like in the movies. And we're not the only ones trying to unmask villains, because Daphne is over at Viney Shafts' Fortnitemares with her very own secret corkboard. And if you look at it, there are a ridiculous amount of references to old episodes and villains. The YouTube bots are also trying to solve mysteries this Halloween, as you can find them in Freaky Fields trying to solve the murder of a scarecrow. You'll also spot them performing an exorcism on one of the scarecrows in the house, while this little guy makes spooky shadow puppets. But from puppets to toys, we have Poppy Playtime, and while I showed you Huggy's emote earlier, it has nothing on his back bling and pickaxe, both of which are a reference to the player in the games who uses a grab pack with those iconic hands. That's not all, because Fortnite were one step ahead with the back bling, as it quite literally is just like the game where you wear this thing on your back. Best of all, the pickaxe version mentions how it's perfect for Whack-A-Huggy, and that's a reference to one of the most stressful mini games in Poppy Playtime. Now, did you know that Fortnitemare's new Scooby Snacks item has a secret Easter egg? When you start sprinting after eating him, you'll hear this. You can also hear it for yourself when you use the new emote. These footsteps aren't just from Scooby-Doo, but they're an iconic sound effect from a bunch of other shows like Yogi Bear and, of course, the Flintstones. Speaking of Scoobs, the Mystery Machine may be an SUV skin, but you could go find it on the map yourself right now. It is broken down, and you can help repair it by talking to Fred, with the entire questline constantly referencing splitting up and searching for clues, just like the show. Matter of fact, that's the reason why Shaggy and Scooby released on a totally different day to the rest of the Mystery Inc. crew. That's because it's a secret nod to the phrase, "let's split up." And when you look at Shaggy in the store, you'll notice he's pulling an iconic pose. Of course, it's a reference to how his artwork has evolved over the years. Then we have Fred's pickaxe and back bling, both taken from the Black Knight, a villain who loves to torment them throughout the show. Also up for grabs is the new Pig the Butcher outfit, and you can get this for totally free through Fortnitemare's quests. But my favorite part, his design is inspired by the DC villain Professor Pig. They even spell it the same exact way. An Easter egg I'm not a fan of is over at Dreamy Domain, because Fortnite secretly updated this small part of the island to become a spider forest. And why would you do this? Let's just quickly move on to Shogun Solitude, because you'll notice the entire place has been taken over by pumpkins, but more importantly, ghosts. They seem to have surrounded an entire building and are performing some kind of ritual. Let's keep moving to Revenge Reels, a POI in the new Reload map, where you could actually watch something playing on the screen, and it's last year's Fortnitemares trailer. You'd think they would play something more modern. Also on this new island are a bunch of witch cauldrons, which you can secretly jump into and teleport yourself around the map, just like the porta potties. Like, why is this not a regular BR? Although I do appreciate the other POIs like a Strange Gate, which is a new remix version of Lavish Lair with floating rooms, upside down furniture, and a whole ton more. Make sure to look at every inch of this new Halloween map, because you could find 3 gold statues of the High Stakes Gang, and it secretly shows off their new remix versions. Not just hidden map changes, they have also secretly added a fish stick skull version of the candy buckets, but unfortunately, you can't open them. But there is one way to get candy like this in Reload, and it's good old-fashioned trick-or-treating. Yeah, just run up to a house and spam the doorbell until it breaks. Back to regular BR, you might be shocked to learn that Fortnitemares just did something insane. All you gotta do to find out what is avoid getting on the battle bus. That's because Spawn Island itself has been changed for the first time in the entire chapter. And to make it even crazier, it's the first time it's been decorated for Halloween in years. When you do finally get back on the map, make sure to land at this gas station, where you'll find Shaggy and Scooby kicking back and enjoying all of the free snacks Max's place has to offer. If you do talk to him, you can start a secret quest where you build an entire burger for them. But that's not all. Check out Shaggy's back bling, or better yet his emote, where true fans will know this is a reference to season 1 episode 3 of Scooby-Doo Where Are You? I mean, come on, it's the Super Shaggy sandwich. Who doesn't know that?
My favorite. A double, triple decker sardine and marshmallow fudge sandwich.
If you do buy any Fortnitemares skins, make sure to use code T5G. As always, it's been Tommy. Hope you enjoyed, and keep it here on Top.
Today we're gonna watch 1 in 1 million moments in Fortnite.
Tony DM'd me and was like, "You're pushing your luck."
Oh, wait, somebody was in. He wasn't even supposed to get sniped. That's so unlucky. That is a 1 in a million. That's actually 1 in a million. Why would you, first of all, why would you peek when he has a sniper out? You're so lucky that he was one shot. Nick A30. Nice little pump. Oh no, Nick. Oh, it just hit the booster up top. Oh my god. Bro's hyped. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, we're dead. No. Oh, nice. Wait, what's is bro playing while laying in bed? What is going on? What is this view? I just noticed. Uh-oh. You're getting shot out, bro. Shoot him through the crack. He shot you through the crack. That's smart. That's smart. All right, we got Spidey inside the vault. There's someone outside. He's shockwaving up in the air. Whoa, what is going on? How did that even happen? I'm so confused. 14 HP. Mr. Savage.
Let's try again.
Did he just get killed by the airdrop? The OXR.
I think I died to the A rank crate. I'm not joking.
Yeah, you did. The crate just killed him. Oh no. Lex is on height. Someone just TP'd and pushed him off of height using the mask. Uh-oh. I kind of miss these trees. I kind of miss chapter 4. Holy crap, the tree hit the boulder hit the guy. Yeah, I kind of miss chapter 4. GG. Back when Tfue was still playing. No way, he died to the boulder. No way. All right, what's happening here? Uh-oh. Dude, get her out of the way. Oh no. The NPC jumped in front of him.
Like rolling.
Yeah.
Do you have any heals? Like outside of minutes?
You can have this last big.
No scopes?
No scopes?
This game is not real!
That is so unlucky.
Oh, imagine.
Wait, he got 304 meters.
What?
All right, we got to work on our aim. What's going on here? Shockwave. The queen came out and killed him. That has to be 1 in a million. All right.
I'm actually gonna go for a play.
Kanata. Oh. I'm actually gonna go for a play. He just immediately gets sniped. Oh, this is an OG clip. All right. OG. Where are we landing? He's gonna pop the balloon. The guy's gonna fall to his death because he popped his balloon. That's nuts. We're lagging a little bit here. We're lagging. I mean, that's just you lagging, bro. I see your Wi-Fi at the top going crazy. Bro, you're gonna grab your teammate's card in front of that guy? Like, defend yourself. What? Nah. 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 Come on. Uh-oh. Yes! What? Why did he say yes? Why was he excited? All right. Oh. That's tough, bro. That's tough. All right, we're on height. The guy's coming down with the hammer. We're gonna build.
Oh my gosh, I'm just dead again.
Nope, you're gonna land on. That is so lucky.
I dropped my controller. I put my controller down.
That is so lucky.
I dropped my controller.
I can't believe it. I can't either.
Press the wrong button. I'm not driving.
I'm not driving.
Abort.
Oh, you did it.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
Oh, but survive. Stop panicking. You had the opportunity to stay alive.
Like a high quality shirt with a cool design and nothing too overcomplicated.
All right. We got some good shots right here.
Dude, he's gonna steal my car. Oh, what the heck?
Wait, what just happened?
That was insane.
One sec, chat. I need to drop something off, and I'll be right back. BRB. Alright, sorry, I'm back, chat. Here, wait, I'm gonna start up